What if a moment of unprovoked aggression could unleash a political firestorm that shakes an entire state to its core? What if a casual threat, aimed at a seemingly ordinary teenager, revealed a connection to the highest office in the land? The afternoon sun beat down on the basketball court in Northwood Park, glinting off the hoop as Marcus Holloway, a bright-eyed Black American teen of 17, effortlessly sank a three-pointer. Marcus was a quiet leader, a star student, and deeply involved in his community's youth programs. He was also the beloved nephew of Governor David Vance, a man celebrated for his progressive policies and commitment to social justice. As Marcus retrieved his ball, humming to himself, the screech of tires shattered the park's peaceful rhythm. A patrol car skidded to a halt near the court. Officer Miller, a burly figure known for his aggressive patrols and quick temper, stepped out, his face set in a scowl, his hand on his holster. For more gripping tales from the hidden corners of justice and beyond, subscribe to Dark Side of Luna, where the shadows hold the truth. "Hey, kid," Miller barked, his voice laced with unprovoked anger. "What do you think you're doing? Loitering? Causing a disturbance?" His partner, Officer Jenkins, a younger, more nervous cop, looked on uneasily. Marcus frowned, genuinely bewildered. "Officer, I'm just playing basketball. This is a public park." He gestured to his ball. Miller scoffed, stepping onto the court, his presence instantly intimidating. "Public park? Or a hangout for your type? We've had complaints. You got any ID? You look awfully suspicious playing ball by yourself." His eyes swept over Marcus's new sneakers and athletic gear, a clear judgment in his gaze. Marcus, despite the rising tension, remained calm. His uncle, Governor Vance, had always taught him the importance of knowing his rights and remaining composed in such encounters. "Officer, I'm not required to show ID unless I'm suspected of committing a crime. I'm a student and I'm simply enjoying the park." Miller's face contorted in a snarl. "Oh, a smart mouth, huh? Thinks you know the law better than me. I'll show you the law. Get off this court now, or you're coming down to the precinct for obstruction. And things will get a lot rougher there, son." He took a menacing step closer, his hand tightening on his holster, his intent clear. Marcus's jaw tightened. The casual racism, the blatant abuse of power, it was a familiar pattern in their community. He looked directly at Miller, his voice dropping slightly, but carrying immense weight. "Officer, you are harassing a minor. You are violating my civil rights. And I assure you, you are making a monumental mistake." Miller laughed, a harsh, dismissive sound. "Mistake? The only mistake here is you running your mouth. You think you're special, kid? Let me tell you, out here, you're nobody. Just another black kid causing trouble." He then reached out, shoving Marcus hard in the chest, sending him stumbling back against the basketball net. "Now, get lost or you'll regret it." Officer Miller's jaw went slack, his entire body freezing. His eyes, wide with terror, darted from the photo of Governor David Vance to Marcus Holloway's calm, unwavering face. He had just assaulted the nephew of the state's most powerful elected official. Governor Vance," he stammered, his voice a pathetic squeak, all his bluster evaporating. He looked from the phone to Marcus, then back to the phone, as if hoping the image would change. Officer Jenkins, equally stunned, took a step back, bumping into the patrol car. The casual arrogance that had defined their patrol moments ago vanished, replaced by a cold, gut-wrenching dread. He recognized the governor instantly. Marcus, slowly bending to retrieve his phone, met Miller's terrified gaze. He didn't gloat, he didn't yell. His voice, calm but imbued with an undeniable authority, cut through Miller's rapidly dissolving composure. "Yes, officer," Marcus stated, gently brushing dirt from his phone screen. "Governor David Vance, my uncle. And you have just assaulted a minor, engaged in clear racial profiling, and violated my civil rights on federal land." Marcus paused, allowing the weight of the words to sink in. "I assure you, he takes constitutional matters very seriously." Miller's hands began to tremble. He fumbled frantically for his radio, then his handcuffs. "Sir, Mr. Holloway, I had no idea. It was a mistake. A complete misunderstanding. You fit a description. We were just." Just doing our job. He tried to release the cuffs, his fingers fumbling with the keys. But Marcus was no longer wearing them. He was simply standing, calm and collected, observing the officer's rapidly escalating panic. Officer Jenkins, seeing his partner's complete meltdown, tried to intervene, his voice strained. Miller, just calm down. Mr. Holloway, sir, we can explain. Captain Davis, he always tells us to be proactive in these parks, to clean up the area, especially before those big development projects break ground downtown. His words tumbled out in a desperate attempt to deflect blame, inadvertently exposing a much deeper issue. Marcus's eyes sharpened. Proactive? Or punitive, he challenged, his voice cold. And what big development projects are we talking about, officer? Because from where I stand, this looks less like public safety and more like targeted harassment to clear out communities. He then added, and I'm aware, Officer Miller, of your recent commendation for increased pedestrian stops in low-income districts. That's a performance metric, not policing. He knew this was not just about two officers. It was about a systemic directive designed to pressure and displace, hidden under the guise of progress. Just then, Marcus's phone rang. The screen displayed Uncle David. Marcus answered calmly, looking Officer Miller directly in the eye as he spoke. Uncle David? Yes, I'm fine. Just had a minor incident. Two of the governor's finest officers here. Officer Miller and Officer Jenkins. They were just, cleaning up the park. And they had some questions about my identity. He paused, listening to the furious roar on the other end of the line. No, I'm okay. But you might want to call Chief Thorne. It seems his department has some explaining to do about their proactive strategies and about what exactly constitutes a monumental mistake in policing. He hung up, his gaze returning to the now utterly terrified officers. The sirens of approaching backup could be heard faintly in the distance, promising not assistance for the officers, but the inevitable arrival of their consequences. Minutes later, Northwood Park swarmed with patrol cars, but the atmosphere was dramatically different. Police Chief Richard Thorne, a formidable figure with a stern demeanor, emerged from an unmarked vehicle, his face a mask of barely contained fury. He took one look at his two officers, Miller and Jenkins, visibly shaken and pale, standing beside Marcus Holloway, whose calm, commanding presence now radiated undeniable authority. Chief Thorne knew, instantly, the magnitude of the disaster. He recognized Marcus as the governor's nephew from countless public events. Marcus, Chief Thorne began, his voice tight with controlled anger. What is going on here? He then turned to Miller and Jenkins, his gaze chilling. Officers, what happened here? Why is Mr. Holloway's phone on the ground? Marcus, rubbing his chest where Miller had shoved him, simply stated, Chief, your officers assaulted me, harassed me, and racially profiled me while I was playing basketball in a public park. They threatened me with arrest, and they admitted to following Captain Davis's proactive policing orders to clean up this neighborhood. Chief Thorne's face hardened further. He immediately placed Miller and Jenkins on administrative leave, their badges and weapons confiscated on the spot. But beneath his stern facade, Marcus sensed a deeper fear. This wasn't just about two rogue officers. It was about protecting a far larger secret, one that reached beyond the police department. Governor David Vance's office, alerted by Marcus, launched an immediate, high-level investigation. What they uncovered went far beyond Captain Davis's precinct. The proactive policing directives and the aggressive community cleanup operations in Northwood Park and other similar neighborhoods were direct orders originating from Mayor Robert Sterling's office. Mayor Sterling, a politically ambitious figure with strong ties to powerful real estate developers, had initiated an urban revitalization initiative across the city. Publicly, it was about attracting investment. Secretly, it was a calculated scheme to depress property values in long-standing Black communities by creating a perception of rising crime and disorder, thereby facilitating cheap land acquisition for Sterling's preferred developers. Police aggression was a tool of gentrification, systematically displacing residents for profit. Marcus's encounter was not random. It was a deliberate strategy of ethnic cleansing through policing, orchestrated by the city's highest office. As Governor Vance's task force, led by his most trusted legal minds and bolstered by federal investigators, closed in, they faced increasing obstruction from City Hall. Records went missing. City employees were intimidated. Then, an unexpected ally emerged, Dr. Lena Hayes, a meticulous urban planner from the city planning department. Dr. Hayes, a Black American woman, had long harbored suspicions about the mayor's revitalization projects. She had secretly maintained parallel records, meticulously documenting zoning changes, property acquisitions, and corresponding spikes in police activity. Her independent analysis revealed irrefutable patterns of racial displacement. When she saw the news of Marcus's assault and the governor's direct involvement, she knew her moment had come. Risking her career and safety, Dr. Hayes anonymously delivered a trove of damning internal memos, confidential city council minutes, and encrypted communications directly linking Mayor Sterling and Chief Thorne to the Urban Revitalization Initiative's true, discriminatory intent. This was the undeniable evidence that tied the police's actions directly to a citywide political and financial conspiracy. The battle shifted from a street encounter to a full-blown war against systemic corruption. Mayor Sterling and Chief Thorne, cornered and desperate, launched a vicious counterattack, attempting to discredit Governor Vance, smear Dr. Hayes, and even publicly accuse Marcus of being a privileged troublemaker who fabricated his story for political gain. They leveraged their allies in local media and the police union to sow doubt and division. But Marcus Holloway, a young man who had found his voice through adversity, remained unyielding. Governor Vance, driven by both personal outrage and an unshakable commitment to justice, was preparing for the final, decisive confrontation. The political temperature in the city reached a boiling point. Mayor Robert Sterling and Police Chief Arthur Sterling, cornered by the mounting federal investigation and the damning evidence provided by Dr. Lena Hayes, were desperate. They launched a full-scale counteroffensive, not just through media smears, but with overt attempts to discredit the federal probe itself. They called a massive mandatory city unity rally in the downtown square, framing it as a show of strength against federal overreach and biased investigations. Mayor Sterling intended to use the rally to publicly laud Chief Sterling, dismiss Marcus Holloway's efforts as politically motivated, and paint his administration as victims of a smear campaign. Governor David Vance, however, anticipated their move. He knew Mayor Sterling's ego would lead him to a public spectacle. Working with his chief of staff, the state attorney general, and his trusted legal advisors, Governor Vance meticulously planned his counteroffensive. As Mayor Sterling, with Chief Sterling by his side, began his fiery speech at the packed rally, denouncing the unfounded accusations, a subtle network of discreet, federally placed microphones began to activate around the stage. Governor Vance's team wasn't just planning to hijack a jumbotron. They were planning to expose the mayor through his own words, live. Mayor Sterling, overconfident, started to address the rumors of corruption, proclaiming his honesty. "I swear on my family's name," he boomed, "that I have never taken a single cent of illicit money. And Chief Sterling's police force has only ever operated with the highest integrity." His voice, intended to inspire trust, was now being captured with absolute clarity. As Mayor Sterling delivered his false assurances, a figure emerged from the side of the stage, a man in a sharp suit, looking pale but resolute. It was Deputy Mayor Thomas Bryant, a longtime confidant of Mayor Sterling, whom Governor Vance's team had secretly flipped just hours before the rally. Bryant, armed with unassailable federal protection and a crushing burden of guilt, walked to a microphone positioned near a neutral federal agent. "Mayor Sterling is lying," he stated, his voice trembling slightly, but clear for all to hear. "I have direct knowledge. I have the receipts. I was there. He has taken millions in kickbacks from the developers." He ordered Chief Sterling to implement the aggressive policing tactics to clear out those neighborhoods. And he specifically paid to have evidence destroyed when the federal inquiry began. As he spoke, large screens behind the mayor, which Mayor Sterling thought were under his control, suddenly flickered. They began to display not Mayor Sterling's face, but digital copies of bank statements, encrypted emails, and wiretap conversations directly implicating Mayor Sterling and Chief Sterling in money laundering, racketeering, and ordering the systematic violation of civil rights for profit. The crowd in the square erupted in a furious roar, their cheers turning to boos, then outright demands for arrest. Mayor Sterling and Chief Sterling stood frozen, their faces contorted in terror, their carefully constructed kingdom of lies collapsing around them in a public spectacle of monumental proportions. The mayor attempted a desperate lunge at Deputy Mayor Bryant, but federal agents immediately intervened. The city watched stunned as its top officials were exposed by their own corrupted inner circle and their own greed, their downfall meticulously orchestrated by the very team they had threatened, and the governor who refused to let injustice stand. The mayor's city unity rally utterly backfired, transformed into a spectacular public tribunal. As the damning footage of the urban watchman and Captain Hayes' confession played across the jumbotron, exposing the systematic neglect of 911 calls, the roar of the betrayed crowd became a thunderous demand for justice. Mayor Robert Sterling and Chief Arthur Sterling, utterly exposed, stood frozen in terror, their carefully constructed kingdom of lies crumbling around them. The arrest of Mayor Robert Sterling and Chief Arthur Sterling, captured live for the world to see, triggered an unprecedented wave of federal indictments. Justice Secretary Randall Thorne's office, with Governor David Vance's unwavering support, launched a comprehensive investigation. Armed with the irrefutable evidence from Dr. Lena Hayes, Deputy Mayor Thomas Bryant's courageous testimony, and Marcus's own powerful account, they meticulously unraveled the entire corrupt network. The trials that followed were monumental, drawing national attention. Mayor Sterling and Chief Sterling, once untouchable, faced overwhelming evidence of their criminal enterprise. Deputy Mayor Bryant's testimony, detailing the precise orders for racial profiling, the financial kickbacks from developers, and the sinister manipulation of emergency services, was damning. Dr. Lena Hayes, a beacon of integrity, dissected the internal protocols and corrupted data, leaving no room for denial. The verdicts were swift and absolute. Mayor Robert Sterling and Chief Arthur Sterling were found guilty on all counts, including racketeering, conspiracy against civil rights, and criminal negligence. They received lengthy federal prison sentences, stripped of their power and reputations. Officers Miller and Jenkins, Captain Davis, and all implicated members of the Public Order Unit received severe sentences for civil rights violations, assault, and obstruction of justice. The corrupt real estate developers faced massive fines and prison time, their ill-gotten gains seized. But the justice extended far beyond individual convictions. Governor David Vance, with Dr. Lena Hayes and Marcus by his side, enacted the Community Dignity and Public Safety Act, the most sweeping police and urban development reform bill in the state's history. Abolition of discriminatory policing, all proactive policing quotas, vague public order directives, and practices leading to racial profiling were explicitly outlawed. The insidious 911 call deprioritization algorithm was dismantled and replaced with an equitable, transparent system ensuring rapid emergency response for all citizens. Police Department transformation. Chief Arthur Sterling's top brass were purged. The police force underwent a radical, federally mandated restructuring, implementing rigorous de-escalation, anti-bias, and community engagement training. Independent civilian review boards with unprecedented investigative and disciplinary powers became mandatory statewide. Urban development redefined. The Urban Revitalization Initiative was entirely reshaped. Recovered funds from the convicted developers were redirected into building affordable housing, revitalizing public spaces, and creating job opportunities within the existing communities, preventing displacement and fostering genuine growth. Youth and Veteran Advocacy. A new state-funded program, the Marcus Holloway Youth Empowerment Initiative, was established in Northwood Park, providing safe spaces and resources for teens and educating them on their civil rights. Northwood Park, once a site of intimidation, became a vibrant symbol of resilience. The street where Marcus was assaulted was renamed Community Justice Way. Marcus Holloway, no longer just a teen victim, emerged as a powerful youth civil rights advocate, his voice resonating with clarity and purpose. Dr. Lena Hayes was promoted to a newly created statewide position, overseeing the implementation of the reforms, ensuring accountability permeated every level of law enforcement. Governor David Vance, his leadership forged in crisis, became a national beacon for progressive governance, proving that personal outrage, when combined with political will and unwavering truth, can dismantle an empire of corruption and usher in an era of true compassion and equity. For more gripping tales from the hidden corners of justice and beyond, subscribe to Dark Side of Luna, where the shadows hold the truth.